Hi everyone. So today I want to talk about Karl Marx. Karl Marx, in the general sense, not General Marx, but abstract. From a distant point of view, his whole philosophy, which is like he wrote lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. And so I'm going to give you the thumbnail sketch of stuff. But the more you know, the more you realize that this is a thumbnail sketch. It's worthy of something, but it doesn't tell us everything. Uh, so probably heard me say something like this. If ever there was a person who thought about human freedom, it's Karl Marx, right? I say that to remind ourselves to sort of shake the tree. You know, sometimes the just the name Karl Marx has a visceral hatred, and I got to say, when it does, more often than not, it is from ignorance. So just let Karl Marx be who he is for a minute. You can hate him later, but if you hate him later, at least you'll be able to say why. And you probably won't hate him as much. You might say he's wrong, but you not like kill him before he was born, kind of thing. All right? So, concerned with human freedom. Now, the world in which Karl Marx lives, this is becoming an issue. There's two things that happen with the Industrial Revolution. First of all, production goes through the roof. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, can we make stuff, right? You know, from fake dog do to like anything else. We can produce like crazy. So he's impressed with that because that means that no one will go wanting. We can produce enough to provide for everyone all their wants, all of their desires. The problem is, the reason people go wanting is because of, and this is a huge, huge point. We'll talk about it more and more and more and more and more. The ownership of the means of production. Adam Smith, the grandfather maybe of capitalism or whatever, Adam Smith understands the same point. He is so impressed by the productive powers of the division of labor. He talks about a pin making factory where it used to be one guy would make 20 pins in a day, and they get 8 guys in there, each doing one job, straightening the pin, cutting the wire, putting that cap on it, shining it up, pointing it up, whatever. They make 48,000 pins a day. 20 pins, 48,000 pins. I mean, this is jaw-dropping, through the roof, productive power, right? Wow. Adam Smith thinks that the workers will get their fair share of the 48,000 pins. So that I'll get my whatever, and I'll go into the market with either that to trade or the dollar amount to trade. So the more I produce at work, the more wealth I'll have in the marketplace. And he's wrong because of the ownership of the means of production. And Karl Marx makes a thorough understanding of capitalism based on the ownership of the means of production, such that, scholars, economists that study this say that Marx's capitalism is better than Smith's. In other words, he understands it better. Not that who cares, but, that's a thing. And so Marx makes clear things that Smith assumes. If I take home my fair share of my 48,000 pins, it's called stealing, right? Because they belong to the person I work for. I used to work at a screw factory. I said guy because I have a boss in mind. Sorry. But they belong to the person I work for, right? So that they were never mine. They were never mine. They were never mine. So one of the things that separates Smith and Marx is not so much that they disagree on everything, but like a key point or two like this that are really important, which make them like really separate. Otherwise, they both see the same sorts of problems with the new kinds of work and economic relationships. So Karl Marx, the wealth goes as separate as the production goes through the roof, right? So rich people get really, 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 really rich. We talked about the expansion of a middle class, right? This is just like, whew. But at the same time, the lower class, the poor, the impoverished, the the lumpen proletariat, even the downright poor, just gets huge. And the working conditions for people that work in this industrial revolution suck. Suck. I mean, they're chained there. They work all day, 18-hour days. They're locked in, right? Employers don't employ people like kind saints. They are looking for profit. And that's an important thing to keep in mind. So the working conditions for the workers were just horrible. People were dying. I mean, it's just nasty, 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 nasty all over the place. So we were producing like crazy, but who can participate in the production? Not everyone. The people that produce cannot participate in what they produce. The dearth of goods and conveniences that are made into the world are for people other than the people that make them, right? So there's a separation of the kinds of freedom that are had. There's a separation in the kinds of lives that are had. There's separation in the kinds of humanity that is lived. And a huge influx of production. And Marx sees here a real problem. And, that Marx sees a problem here is not unique. There's a problem here. How Marx sees the problem is unique. So that's what I want to take a look at.